Sometimes when you deal with different data files, you might want to extract non-duplicated lines. Um, and the unique command is the command that allows you to do that. So the unique command does output a file without duplicated lines. It does require a sorted file as an input. Remember, you can sort your files using the sort command. And if you give unique a file that is not sorted, it's not going to work, and it's not going to extract the non-duplicated lines. Of course, if you would like to see more options, you can use the command man. And one of the most useful options is the -c, which allows you to output each line with its number of repeated times. Like for instance, if a line is repeated 3 times, if you add the -c option, it's going to tell you that that line was found 3 different times in a given file. You can try it on the different files we were dealing with, and I'm going also to do it from my terminal so that you see an example and you take more time to practice during the session. So let's see. We have in this folder genes1 and genes2. If I do unique in genes1, I will have the exact content of genes1 because genes1 does not contain any duplicated line. I'm going to display the content of genes1 once again so that you see it's exactly the same line. We don't have any duplication in this file, so this is why the unique, when it wants to remove the duplicates, the command does not find any duplicated lines, so it's exactly the same output. Let's try to copy this line and edit the file. So it's nanogenes1, and I copy pasted that line, the gene366 line in the file, and I'm going to exit and save. So I'm going to do unique genes1 again, and it gave me this as an output. So unique did give us the exact same content of the file. It did not remove the duplicated lines. What happened is that our file is not sorted. It was sorted in the beginning, but it wasn't sorted when we added the new line, right? So if we do cat genes1, the file is not sorted, as you can see. Gen3, if we sort the file, it's going to appear immediately after this line, right? So let's sort the file. So sort gene1, genes1. So if I do sort genes1, it's going to display the result in my screen, right? But here we would like to use the result of the sorted file. So I'm going to save the result of the sort command in another file, and we'll talk about that more later. So if you would like to, instead of displaying the result on the screen, if you would like to save it in a given file, you add the superior sign, and then you can write it in a resulting file. We're gonna call it sorted genes1. Yes. So this sign will allow you to redirect the output of this command into this file. So as you see here, there is no result displayed in the screen, but instead the result was written here. So instead of having this in the screen, the result will be saved here. We will talk about that more later, right after this. But I just wanted to show you that the unique command did not work because our file was not sorted. Okay, so let's see the result of sorted genes, and here you can see we got gene 3 and followed by the other line gene 3, so the file is now sorted, and it was written into sorted genes 1. So now we're gonna play with unique. So instead of doing unique on genes 1, we're gonna do it on sorted genes 1. And as you see here, instead of having 2 lines duplicated, we got just one line. So the duplication was removed. Okay, so remember, sorted genes 1 contains 3 different lines, 2 different lines, sorry, containing gene 3 and followed by 66. It's the exact same line, and it was removed when we use it unique. Okay, so let's go back to the lecture. Oh yeah, of course, if you would like to try the -c, if you would like to add the number of times you see the line, here you can easily see that the first line, gene 1 followed by 4, is present only once, and here it's present twice, and then only one. So there was only one duplication, so this line was duplicated once, and it was removed when we used the unique command. All right, let's switch back to our lecture. We are going to talk a little bit more about the join command. So remember, I said in the beginning that the join command is a command that is used to compare 2 different input files, and that is based on the entries in a common field called the join field. And the output is written as a merged file of these 2 different files based on a joining field. The join does require sorted files as input, as you saw with the unique command. It doesn't really work if the files are not sorted. Same for join. And what happens is that lines with identical join field will be presented only once in the output file. The structure of the join is join followed by options, and then it does require 2 different files that we are going to merge. Of course, once again, if you would like to see more options, use the man command. We will go through some examples of the join command. Maybe we can do this right away so that we don't forget. Going to clear my screen so that you see what I'm typing. Remember, we have genes 1 and genes 2. Let's display the content so that you remember what we have. And here is the content of genes 2. So if we would like to join the 2 different files, which means that we would like to merge them based on a given joining field. Let's say that our joining field will be the first field. So we are going to look for genes that are common between the 2 different files. So if we have a look on our files, the common genes are gene 1. We have a line concerning gene 1 in file genes 1, and then another line concerning gene 1 in the second file, right? And we don't have any line concerning gene 3 in file 2, neither gene 7, and same thing for gene 2 and gene 4 that are present in this second file. They are not present in the first one. So theoretically, we are going to have only one match, which is the gene 1. Correct? So join genes 1 space genes 2. My files are already sorted here, so we got the result, and it's a combination between the two different files, and basically we are having the line that we the value that we do have in common, which is join one, which is gene one, and then it's a combination of the field coming from file, the first file genes one, which is our first file, and the second field is coming from genes 2, which is our second file. I mean, here it's a very simple example, but join is really very powerful when you have bigger files containing much more data, and of course you can choose your joining field and specify the different parameters, but by default it's going to consider the first column as a joining field. So our first column here is the column containing genes 1, genes 2, etc. So once again, we had only this line, only this value in common for the joining field, which is the first column. And the result is a combination between what we have in file 1 and what we have in file 2. Here we have exactly the same value for gene 1 in file 1 and file 2. So this is why you had 4 and another 4. And of course, if we modify the value, let's say instead of having 4, I'm going to move it to 445. Control X to save, and yes. And if I do the join again, you can see here that it's the value coming from file 1 and then the new value in file 2. Okay, let's go back to the lecture. So there's a command that does the opposite thing of join, and instead of having of displaying what is common between file 1 and file 2, it's going to display the different entries between the two different files. So it can be used to highlight differences between two versions, for example, on the same file. And if you are dealing, like, if you are, for example, extracting genes that are related to a specific disease and you would like to compare them with another set of genes related to another disease, you can do that and search for genes that are different, that do characterize each of the diseases, for example, or like compare two different versions of a file, or wherever task you would like to perform if you look for differences in two different files. So the default output is the fact that the common lines are not showed and only different lines are indicated, and it shows that if a line has been added, deleted, or changed as well. So the structure of the command is def followed by some options, and then it requires two different files as it's a command that is comparing two different files.